Have you ever had a sudden feeling that something is wrong? When goosebumps run down your spine and your hair stands up. Tonight was one of those nights for me. My name is Bill Jackson. I'm 46 years old, 5 feet 11 inches tall, and 175 pounds. I work as a plant manager for a large brewing company in Fort Worth, Texas. My wife's name is Janice, or Jen. She is 46 years old, 5 feet 6 inches, and 130 pounds. Well-built, with nice, big breasts and lush hips, along with a firm butt, especially in the dress she wore today. Jan works for a large advertising firm in Fort Worth in the design and graphics department. Janice and I have been married for 25 years. We've lived on the same block since 4th grade. As kids, we were best friends. In middle school, we became a couple, and in high school, Jan was even my prom date. That was the night we became much closer, the night we gave each other our virginity. Jen and I went to the University of Texas together for 3 years. For the last 2 years, we lived in the same one-bedroom apartment. You could say we lived together. We have a daughter, Judy. She is 21 and attending the University of Oklahoma, Trader LOL. Judy is also engaged to Brad Johnson, a very nice young man from Oklahoma City. Brad comes from an oil family. His father is a major official in a major oil company in Norman, Oklahoma. Brad is 26, so he's a little more mature and head over heels in love with our daughter. We are very excited for them both. My future son-in-law is studying business law, and Judy, well, she was in whatever class she was enrolled in. No major, just went to school, was a cheerleader, and spent my money. Jen made about $55,000 a year at her job, and I, as a manager at High Life Brewing Company, brought home over $300,000, so we were financially secure. About 15 years ago, we found a house on Lake Arlington that was in foreclosure. We made an offer of $350,000 cash and bought it, renovated it, and it's now appraised at $2.3 million. Now, I should probably go back to the night that made me wince and wonder. 3 days ago, Jen informed me that her company was having a party this coming Saturday night. After telling me about it, she said, "Bill, I know you don't like going to these events, and you'll probably be too tired, so you don't have to go if you don't want to." No, Jen, I have the next few days off, and I would love to go. For 3 days, Jen kept telling me that I didn't have to go, but I kept saying that I really wanted to meet her coworkers at the party. My wife was wearing a beautiful but tight black dress that emphasized her long blonde hair and blue eyes. As soon as we entered the main hall, a man in his 50s was heading toward Jan. I noticed that she extended her arm away from her body as if to stop him. Then she turned to me and kissed me on the cheek. That was the first of my bad feelings that night. Jan and I had a few drinks. I was staying sober because I was driving and also wanted to be aware of everything going on tonight. I had never suspected my wife of cheating before, and I didn't think she would cheat tonight. All my bad vibes had to do with this guy, who I found out about later from a man sitting at our table. His name was Jack Taylor. Jack Taylor was one of the senior advertising sales reps at my wife's company. Jen and I danced a few times, and I caught her looking in Jack's direction a few times. He was looking at us in return. After one dance, Jack came over and asked Jen if she wanted to dance. He didn't look at me or even ask, "May I dance with your wife?" He asked her directly, bold and arrogant. Jen saw my face turn red and my fists clench, so she politely declined and told him that all her dancing was for her husband. I could see he was irritated as he stepped back and started dancing with another woman. Jen was ready for another drink, so I went to the bar to get her one. As I was coming back, I saw Jack standing in front of Jen, asking her something. She was looking at him with sad eyes and shaking her head in refusal. And then I saw her lips move. I could read her lips. She said, "I'm sorry, baby. I'm pretty good at lip reading. Our factory is very noisy in some areas, and we wear hearing protection, so I understood what she said. For the rest of the night, I watched everything carefully and didn't drink anything else. I wanted to control my emotions. I paid close attention to everyone around us. They were all watching Jen and yes, Jack. I realized something was going on. But what exactly? And how long had it been happening? I'm not good at keeping things to myself, So on the way home, I asked Jen about Jack.
Jen.
Who is this Jack? You two seem to have a connection. Is there something I should know? Jack is just someone I work with, honey. And I can't believe you think I'd do anything to hurt you. I love you more than anything in the world. I didn't say anything else that night. Jen knew me well. She knew I didn't take betrayal lightly. Growing up, she had always been on my side, supporting me when I needed her. One time in high school, a guy disrespected me. I confronted him later, and after that, he never bothered me again. Jen backed me up, saying I had been with her the whole time. Once at the University of Texas, one of the soccer players overstepped his boundaries with Jen. I made sure he understood that wasn't acceptable. The coaches wanted to punish me, until Jen told them exactly what had happened. The matter was handled quickly. So Jen knows, I won't ignore things like this, or at least she should. Like I said, Jen makes over $50,000, and I make over $300,000. Plus, Jen has over $125,000 in her 401k, and I have over $1 million. So I figured I should know for sure. I hired a private investigator, the same one we'd used at my brewery for several workers' compensation cases. And long story short, I had the evidence. That was the evidence I needed. A few weeks later, we were sitting at the dining room table, drinking coffee, and I asked Jan, "So you're never going to cheat on me? Or you've never cheated on me before, right?" Jan, "No, honey, I will never cheat. Why are you asking me this, Bill?" I picked up a large envelope and started laying the pictures out on the table one by one. "Well, Jan, in this picture, you're kissing Jack at the entrance to the Motel 6. In this one, you're walking in the door. In this one, his car is parked in front of our house. And in this one, he's sleeping with you in our bed." Jan, "Bill, it doesn't mean anything. I don't love him. It's just sex. It means everything to me, January. Is he better than me? Is he bigger than me? How long has this been going on? And why?" Jan, "No, he's not bigger or even that big, Bill. And as for better, I can't say he's better. He's just different, that's all. We've been at it for over a year now." "You've had a friend for over a year now?" Jan, "Bill, at work, we don't call it a friend. I'm his office wife, but a few people at work do." "What? You're not going to leave, are you?"
Bill, hell no.
"I'm not leaving. I packed most of your clothes and personal belongings in your trunk. I want you out of my house now." I grabbed Jan's hand and led her to the car. Jan, "Where am I going, Bill?" "I don't care where you go. Go live with your office husband." Jan, "I can't go to him. Jack is married and has 3 kids. I already knew that. It was in the private investigator's report, his wife's and kids' names and addresses, but I hadn't told Jan I had that information." Jan, "I don't care where you go. Go back to Motel 6 and make sure you let your buddy know about it. But get the hell out of here and stay away." Jan, "Bill, are you going to throw away 25 years of a good marriage?" Jan, "It was less than 24 years of a good marriage and more than 1 year of a cheating marriage. And you're the one who threw it away. You." Crying, Jan got in her car and drove away. 3 hours later, the phone rang. It was my loving daughter. "Hi, Judy." "Hi, Dad. How are the wedding plans going?" "They planned it themselves, but I took care of all the expenses. She had a big wedding, but this was my only daughter, and I love her dearly." Then the conversation took a turn. "Dad, Mom says you kicked her out of the house. What the hell did you do that for?" "Well, Judy, it's your mom who should tell you, but I caught her cheating." "Oh, grow up, Dad. This is the 21st century. It happens all the time. It's not so bad when a woman goes out and gets her way. Men do it all the time too. I've never done it, and I'm not going to put up with it." "So, you're doing it to Brad?" "Judy, it's none of your business. And Brad and I aren't married yet. So what I do is none of his business." "Okay. Who else is doing this nonsense that I know?" "Aunt Betty does, Dad." "So what?" "My family is full of." "Dad, get over it and let Mom come home. Besides, it's not that big of a deal. And Dad, I met Jack. He's a wonderful man. Mom wants him in the wedding and so do I. I couldn't believe what I was hearing. These kids were stupid. Did they burn their brains out with drugs or something? Judy, if you want him at your wedding, have him walk you down the aisle, because if he's there, I won't be. I then hung up the phone. Throughout the night, my phone rang several times, but I refused to answer it. 2 days later, Jan showed up at the house with a paper. It was a court order. Her husband, who works in the office, had a great lawyer, and she got a temporary order to come back into the house until things were settled. She also wanted to talk about her affair. The stupid woman didn't think it was affecting our marriage. She had been affectionate with me when I asked for it and would continue to be so with me. She saw no reason to end her relationship with Jack. You know, I will never tolerate a cheating wife. And as for wanting to be affectionate with you, I will never touch you again. You can have the master bedroom since that's where you slept with him. I've been sleeping in one of the other bedrooms ever since I found out what a big whore my wife was. Bill, I'm not a whore. Jen, I don't care what you say. It doesn't matter anymore. I'm going to file for divorce this week and get rid of you. Bill, I don't want a divorce. And besides, Jack and I have talked to his lawyer. If you divorce me, I get the house and half of all assets. You make more money than me, so I will get a big chunk of your alimony check. So, my dear husband, you can sit back and enjoy the ride. Like Jack says, F*** you and Jack. I got up and went to my bedroom. Around midnight, Jen knocked on my door, crying and saying she was sorry. She wanted us to make it work. But she wanted Jack too. The next morning, I went to see one of our company lawyers. He said it would be just like Jan said. She would get the house and half of everything. Judy would leave the house so there would be no alimony. And yes, she would get at least $125,000 a year in alimony. Bill, he said, you're screwed if you divorce her. Sorry, my friend. The next few days passed more quietly. We didn't talk to each other. But on the third day, Jen asked me, are you still stupid enough to try to get a divorce? My lawyer is considering it as we speak. you, Bill. I'll take everything you have. I didn't say anything else, just drank my high life. About an hour later, Jan was on the phone in the dining room and brought the receiver to me. Someone needs to talk to you, Bill. Hello? Bill, it's Jack. Hey, man, I know you're pissed, but you just gotta get over it, weirdo. We're going to take everything and make your life miserable if you don't. You. You don't know who you're sleeping with. You can have that whore. I don't need her anymore. She's ruined. So go yourself, and you'll be I slammed the phone down. After that, I looked at Jan and couldn't believe how dumb he and the whore were. I caught them by hiring a private investigator. I had video and audio. I had pictures. And what about audio? If they were so smart, didn't they know that conversations in this house and on these phones were still being recorded? Stupid people. The next week, Jan went out with her office husband 4 times. It was at the Motel 6, not here. I told her if she slept with him here one more time, I would kill them both. I think she finally believed me. The brewery I worked at was bought last year by a larger brewery out of Colorado. Yes, the same Rocky Mountain Brewery. We released both products from our brewery here in Fort Worth. And we had 2 managers, me handling my product, and the other product was managed by James. James was the plant manager from Colorado. He was much younger and a very smart man. I liked him a lot. James had gone through a divorce before coming here, so he knew what I was going through. Our company wanted to downsize and only have 1 manager. Good thing I had the union on my side. They needed a younger guy, and James was from the purchasing company. They tried to buy me out. The last offer was $500,000 and turning my pension from the previous company into stock. What could be better in this dull world than shares for beer? James and I went to a local strip club not far from the factory. James came here often since he was divorced and had nothing to do every night. That's when it all came to me. It was during our conversation that my life got better. Bill, I know what you're going through. That blood-sucking ex got everything. I wish I could just sell or give it all away. Just run away and not get divorced. James, my friend, you are the smartest person I know. I finished my beer and shook his hand. Thank you, my friend. I then walked out the door and headed home. Luckily, Jan wasn't home. Apparently, she had gone to pick up her office husband. That night, Jan didn't come home, and I realized how little I missed her. I had once loved Jan more than anything in the world. But now, I hated the B**********. My plan was about to come to fruition. Today was Sunday, and I was sitting at home watching soccer when my daughter called. Daddy, have you recovered from your madness? What do you need, Judy? I'm calling because Mom wanted me to talk to you about the wedding. Okay. What's up, daughter? Mom and I think Jack should be at the wedding too. Maybe he could walk down the aisle behind you and me, and then sit down when he gets to Mom. Judy, is that really what you want? Yes, Daddy. I think I want to, and I know Mom wants to. You are my father and Mom's husband, but Jack is her office husband, so we think he should be at the wedding. Judy, I have a better idea. Have your office dad walk you down the aisle because I won't be there. I'll call Brad and tell him my apologies. Dad, don't be silly. Brad doesn't like it either, but he'll get over it on our wedding night. Judy, I wish you a good life, sweetheart. Goodbye. What does that mean, Daddy? I never answered her. I just hung up the phone and cried. Jan came home Sunday night and asked, "Did you miss me, honey?" No. I'll never miss you. Go somewhere else and die. Jan ran off to her room crying. Monday morning, I was at the corporate office at 8 a.m. I made the buyout decision, deposited $500,000 into an offshore account, and received my annual salary. Our house was paid off, so were the cars. So, the next stop was the bank. I did the paperwork to borrow money against our house and Jan's car. The house was worth $2.3 million, so I easily borrowed $2 million. Jan's car was worth $45,000, so I easily got $35,000. All I wanted to do was give her a small debt. I had to get her to sign the papers, and that was the hardest part. I went back to my job. I needed to finish the next 2 weeks, so the transition was easy for James. But I didn't mind it. He was a fantastic person. After lunch, I called the wedding planner. I canceled my card so they wouldn't pay the bills. I will no longer be responsible for the wedding expenses. Then who's going to pay for the wedding, Mr. Jackson? Tell Judy to ask her new father, Jack, for the money. In my office, I made up several bogus applications for $1 million worth of insurance on my life. In the evening, I called Jen. She was surprised that I called her.
Jen.
If you're not going to be with Jack tonight, could we have a nice dinner? Oh, that would be great. I'm so glad you're handling it. Where would you like to go? The Italian in downtown, under the streetlights. Would you be okay with that? That sounds so romantic, darling. Maybe you'll get lucky tonight, Bill. I hope I'm luckier than you think, Jen. Tonight we had dinner, and during dinner, Jen tried to kiss me, but I said I would later. I told her about the $1 million insurance policy, lying that the company wanted me to take it out and that she would be the beneficiary. Jen, isn't your sister Betty a notary? Yes, Bill. She is a notary. We have to sign them at the notary. Let's go to her house and sign them tonight, and then we can celebrate. Okay. Bill, let's go. I paid the dinner bill. Then we went to her sister's house, and she signed and initialed all the pages. She was so happy we were together, and after 6 glasses of wine, she didn't even look at what she was signing. Again, like I said, what a stupid undersir. The next day, I rushed the paperwork to the mortgage company and the bank. The $35,000 the bank gave me instantly, and the $2 million would take at least a week. I transferred the funds to my bank account. A week later, after finishing work at the brewery, I stopped by the Ford dealer and traded in my truck for a new Ford F-350. Paying cash, of course. Next, I went to the bank, closed all of our credit cards, emptied all of our savings, withdrew all but $1,000 from our checking accounts, and had my friend transfer all of my money to different accounts to hide any traces or records. The next two items on the agenda were harder for me. I hated the fact that innocent people would get hurt. I met with my future son-in-law and told him what was going on, how I had cut off the money and how I felt my daughter was screwing him over. Then, I gave him the audio recording of my conversations with Judy. Brad was devastated. My next stop was the residence of one Jack Taylor. The door was opened by a beautiful lady, about 50 years old. I wondered how a man could cheat on a classy lady like this. Like I said, stupid. I gave Mrs. Taylor the video, pictures, and audio recordings. She cried, but before I left, she said it was not the first time but the last time. Looks like she is a major stockholder in the Beckham ad agency. I hope this doesn't affect a few people's jobs. I now know how Jen will pay $700 a month for a car or $112,000 a month for a mortgage. Maybe her office husband can help her pay them off. What do you think? I'm going to the car dealership now. They should have my 36-foot fifth-wheel trailer ready. I paid cash for the truck and car and got them in my cousin's name. I only have 3 credit cards also in his name. I plan to go to Florida for a few years and lay low. Maybe I'll get lucky and my wife will file for divorce for me leaving her. Hopefully she will do it soon. With a non-compete clause in my contract, I can't work for another brewery for a year, and King Brewing is not far from where I will be living in my RV in Florida. After a year and 3 months, a lot changed. Jack got divorced and he was right, the woman did get everything. His wife got the house and 60% of everything, plus $60,000 a year in alimony. Jack lost his job but got a new one at one of the last remaining Blockbuster video stores. He rewinds tapes and cleans discs and has a nice studio apartment above the local adult store. Jen had a hard time with her house and car payments. She never knew about the house payments. She was sure we always paid cash. She lost both, and with a bad credit history, she can't get a decent apartment. Jen also lost her job but found another as a waitress at a Denny's restaurant on the highway. She filed for a waiver. She needed a divorce to get welfare. She got nothing from me as she thought she would. They couldn't seem to find me, and she needed to get welfare fast, so she just got a quick divorce. My loving daughter didn't get married. Brad told her about the audio tapes, and she said she didn't think it was so bad if her wife gave her some on the side. She told me the same story. Brad called off the wedding. Judy lost her millionaire family, lost her father, and now lives in a one-bedroom apartment on the other side of town. She shares it with her loving mother. From what I hear, my wife and daughter are dating. Well, if you can call it dating, all the black men who walk in every night and shell out their $20. I guess they're dating pretty actively. I'm having a great time in South Florida. Everyone here is in bikinis, great weather, and fantastic work with the king of beers.